Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. I know it has been forever and a day since I last uploaded a video, and my apologies for that. It's actually very funny today sitting down to do obviously record this, and I thought I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. It's like being right back at the very beginning again, trying to do it all. But yeah, how are you all keeping? Did you all have a good Christmas and a New Year? And may I wish you all a New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. I just thought we'd come on and have a chat because I didn't know where to start. I didn't want to just go straight back into posting videos and you's going, where the hell were you been? And I thought, oh, okay, we do a little catch up. So I just thought I'd just bring us up to date on everything, and that way then when we go back into videos, everybody's up to date and everybody's on the one page. I thought, yeah, that sounds about the right best path going forward. So yeah, so let me take you back to Christmas Day. I suppose would be the best place to start. So you all know about the saga that was sort of Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas Eve, bringing mum to the hospital, bringing what you call it, going down about her broken leg, her broken bone in her leg. So her leg is still sore, it's still healing. There is nothing they can do about it, but she can walk and she can get around, she can drive, she can function. So her leg is doing much better and the pain is much more manageable as it is. So she's doing fine. So then on Christmas Day, so that takes us right up to Christmas. So then Christmas Day, obviously you saw the gifts I bought the kids. Everybody was very happy. Hayley woke up that morning feeling a little bit off. She had a sore throat and she just felt like she was getting a head cold. Now you can probably hear it in my voice, it sounds like I still have a head cold. It's actually in my sinuses, and I'm on antibiotics for that. But anyway, going back to Christmas Day. Sorry, this is probably going to jump all over the place because I haven't a clue. This isn't scripted, or I didn't write notes or anything, so I'm going to be jumping around a bit. So as I said, Hayley woke up Christmas Day feeling a bit off, literally feeling a bit off. She and me made soup. I actually have that video going up for you on Thursday. We made the soup Christmas morning, our Cuncannon soup, and we made that, and then we all had that about 3 o'clock, and nobody was hungry for the rest of the day. We were all feeling a bit, I wouldn't say we were feeling sick, but no one was hungry. We were all satisfied just with the soup, and nobody was hungry or nobody was sort of looking for food. We were all just content, which was a bit weird. So Christmas Day we had no dinner whatsoever. We just had the soup and some bread. Sorry, the dog's asleep on the couch. And then Christmas evening night, so at about 6 o'clock, Kerry went out to a friend's house. She was having, they'd celebrated on Christmas Eve. So on Christmas Day they were just having a few friends over, and she was like, do you mind if I go out to that? And I was like, no, not at all. So she went out to that, and about 3 hours after she left, I got a phone call to say that she was violently ill. She was, and the girl, I think whose house she went up to, she was ill, and I think that girl's partner was ill. I'm not sure 100%, but I know Kerry was violently ill, so I had to go collect her. Turns out the chicken was undercooked, so she got food poisoning from the food they were having up there. So she spent the whole of Christmas night, Stephen's Day, and a lot of Stephen's night just sick as a dog. So Hayley at this point was sort of going, I feel like I'm getting a really dirty head cold. She says it's really all in my head, in my ears, and she says I just feel crap. So we were like, okay, well Kerry's been sick, Hayley now is feeling poorly, and Hayley went, she was exhausted, absolutely exhausted. No matter how many hours sleep she was getting, she was still exhausted. She'd get up for a couple of hours and then she'd have to go for a nap, and it's not like Hayley. So then I think maybe the day after Stephen's Day or the day after that, sort of that odd week in between Christmas and New Year, I woke up a couple of mornings and my arms, my shoulders and my legs, it's like as if I was getting the flu. It had that same feeling, you know, the heaviness in your arms, heaviness in your legs, and like that all in my head. I start like as if I'd a head cold. But I was more worried that it was actually the proper flu. Now, I'd had that years ago when we lived in Spain, and it reminded me of that. So I was like, oh, I'm really not feeling good myself. I'm tired, and but I was still getting up and still functioning. Like I wasn't taken to my bed, but my arms were so heavy. I'd no strength and no appetite whatsoever. Haley had no appetite. So Kerry then starts to feel a bit better. Her stomach is still a bit sore. So we were saying to Haley, go on, take a COVID test just to be sure. Because we had a few left in the house and she tested positive for COVID. And on that day I tested negative and Mum tested negative and so did Kerry and Carol. So everyone tested negative, only Haley tested positive. And then about 2 days later, it sounded like I had a head cut and I could not get out of bed. As in, I'd get up in the morning, have a cup of coffee or a drink or whatever, and then I'd have to go back to bed and lie down and go for a nap. And it was just that extreme tiredness. And Haley was like, now bearing in mind Haley was sharing a bed with me because my mum was in Haley's bed. So I sort of, when she tested positive for COVID, I thought, you're coming, or I already have you. But I had been tested negative. So then I tested positive for COVID. And yeah, I've never, this is my first time getting it. I've never had it before. I didn't know what to expect. And obviously with all the variants going on, everything changes. So I didn't know what to expect. The tiredness got me something chronic. Things that I'd normally get up and do, put around the house, whatever, I literally could not do. So I tested positive, Haley was positive, Mum and Kerry were still testing negative, and so was Carl. Carl sort of kept himself in his room. He was like, I'm not being around sickness, I'm gone. So fine, he stayed up in his room. Then I noticed Mum had gone out to her brothers and stuff, and she was fine. At this stage I was still testing negative, and then she came back, then she tested positive. And the tiredness, my mum never ever takes to her bed, and a couple of days she just didn't even bother getting dressed. She was just like, no, I'm gonna go back to bed. So we had that. Then that took us, then we'd New Year's and stuff, and it was all very, very, very subdued and very, Mum didn't even stay up for New Year's, I don't think. There was me and the two girls, we were the only three up. And then we had, I think on the 2nd of January, Haley tested negative. But she had to sit exams in Donegal on the 4th. So we were not trying to get her negative, but we were hoping she'd be negative, because these would have been the same exams she'd COVID for last year. So yeah, so anyway, she ended up testing negative, and I had to bring her up to Letterkenny for the exams. The drive up to Letterkenny nearly killed me. I was just so tired, and so, I can't even describe it to you. It's like heavy tiredness is what I was feeling. It was one of those where I just wanted to lie down and sleep. But anyway, we got up to Letterkenny. She sat her exam, that was fine. And Mum and Kerry came with us because Mum at this stage just wanted to go home. She was done. She was like, I just want to go home. I want to get into my own bed. We'd also made an appointment for her to see her own doctor, because the doctors up here were like, yeah, she's not our patient, she's positive for COVID. Unless she's struggling, call us. And her own doctor was like, no, come down to me. So when we went then from Letterkenny, now while we were in Letterkenny, I then tested negative. And Mum was still positive. So we drove then from Letterkenny down to Galway. And that takes up to about Thursday, I think. 5th, 6th. So off we went, and we drove to Galway. Again, that drive, even though I was testing negative, and naively very, very naively in my head, I thought, once the virus is out of my system and I'm tested negative, I'll be fine. The exhaustion was still there, and you can hear it still in my sinuses. It's left me with a sinus infection and feeling exhausted. But anyway, got Mammy back to to Galway. Got her to her own doctor on Friday evening. I think it was about 4:30. She went in, and Mam was so, obviously, because of all the past years of listening to it, she was so nervous, so scared, and she just wanted, I suppose she thought it was going to be bigger than what it was. But when she went into the doctor checked her heart, checked her lungs, checked her chest, everything was fine. And I actually think that my mum was relieved when she heard that. Now, when we were in Galway, she took to her bed. She was tired, she was exhausted, she was back in her own bed, so she slept like a baby. Which I'm a great believer in. When you're sick like that, sleep is the best form of medicine you can get. So anyway, we left her alone. She was there, and we were there with Kerry. Now, when we ended up in Galway, Kerry actually tested positive for COVID. So she's now positive. She's still positive for COVID. Myself, my mum and Hayley are now negative. Carl never got it, touch wood, thanks be to God. The dog even was out of sorts. It was the weirdest thing. His nose was running and he couldn't sleep and he couldn't get comfy. And now whether that was because we were all sick and we couldn't get comfy, I don't know. But he was out of sorts, and he still is. Like, he's still not 100% back in his routine, but he'll get there. But yeah, so then when I was leaving my mum's to come back, because Hayley had done the exam, she doesn't have college now at the end of January. So she was coming back up with me to Drogheda because she wanted to get her learner's permit, all that eye test, all that had to be sorted out. So she's back up here with me now. But when we were leaving my mum's car had been obviously sat there for over a month. And sorry, I'll take a drink. Excuse me. So her battery was dead in the car. And she said to me, she says, before you go back up to Drogheda, no, I'd done a food shop for her, because even though she was starting to test negative, she tested negative, she still didn't have the energy to go in and do a shop and stuff like that. So she wrote me a list, and off I toddled with my shop, did a shop for her and stuff. And her car anyway, her car was dead, the battery in the car was dead. So I said to her, before I go, I'll jump you. So she was like, brilliant. So I was after being in Clifton, after going to the chemist and doing all the bits that I had to do, knowing her car was dead. I sort of wanted her that if she needed to give the car up to the mechanic for a couple of days, she had food in, she'd her medicines in, she'd everything in she needed. Went out to jump. My mum's car and my battery is dead as a dodo. Now bearing in mind, we're in the bog hole of nowhere. So on a Sunday, we had to ring the mechanic, who, God bless him, got up off his couch after watching some football match, came down and jumped my car. So I was able to get it back on the road. But mum's car needed an overnight charge because it was so dead. So fine, grand. So myself and Hayley then set off for Drogheda on the Monday. Excuse me. Coming up, I had to stop the car once and the car wouldn't start. So I was in the middle of the forecourt and this man came over and he jumped me there. Got us all the way home. But I just said, what a palaver. So the next day, today, I went out to start the car, dead as a dodo. So I rang my insurance company, who had a guy in the area who'd come and jump me. Fine, that was grand. As soon as he started the car, I said, right, I'll go to Halford's and I will buy a new battery. So I went up to Halford's, bought a new battery, paid my €18 to get the battery fitted. The guy comes out, looks at the thing and says, I can't do that battery. It's whatever way it was put into the car, he didn't know how to do it. So he refunded me for fitting the battery at 5 to 6 in the evening. And I was like, well, where the fruit's sake do I find a garage open now? So anyway, I went down by the NCT centre. Moment of pure genius. Went down to where the NCTs were happening, and there was a little garage in there. Martin somebody's his name. and he was still open. He does, for the people who fail the NCTs who need lights, bulbs, tracking, anything like that done, he does. But he stays open the hours the NCT centre. Perfect. Went into him, said, excuse me, have a battery, bought the battery, nobody can fit it. He'd had fitted and done, I'd say within 3 minutes. Well, okay, slight exaggeration, probably 10 minutes. Anyway, did that, cost me €20, same price Halford, but he actually managed to do the job. So that takes me up to now. I'm home. I'm here. As you can hear, my sinuses are still very clogged. My head is still very clogged. I'm still very, very tired. Like, I'm going to bed, I'm sleeping maybe 10 hours. But when I get up, I could quite happily go back to bed in the afternoon for a nap. And I think that's just the body healing and fighting and doing what it's doing. And yeah. So that is what has been going on. It has been a bit of a saga. It's been a bit all over the place. This Christmas, we were sitting down talking about this up in Letterkenny. So we've written off this Christmas. We've just said, yeah, we're just going to put that down as a non-Christmas year. So yeah, so that's sort of how we're all moving forward. So we just ignore Christmas and the sicknesses and all that. And we'll just start into the new year. So the new year, what's happening this new year? Well, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm actually very excited about this new year. I feel, do you know when, I don't know, maybe it's because the sicknesses, all I feel that's done. So this year is going to be good. And I don't believe in setting goals, as in resolutions, New Year's resolutions. I don't believe in that. For myself, just for myself. But my main thing I would like to do is leave 2023 mentally, physically and emotionally better than I entered it. I think would be the sort of overall goal of this year. Survive this year, don't be any worse than what it was last year, and just let's get through this. I do have a couple of little goals, not goals, see I'm saying goals, a couple of little things I'd like to do. I'd like to go to a Austrian Christmas market next year. I want to book that in May. But other than that, there is stuff that's going on in the background that just goes on in the background. I mean, we've people going to school, colleges, doing exams, all this. So all that's going on in the background. I'm not stressing about it. It happens. We'll get through it. But I would just like to leave this year in a better financial, in a better mental health, in a better financial situation, in a better overall, a little bit better than what I entered it in. And try not to make too many fucks ups along the year as we go along. I am thinking, I was talking to a friend of mine, I am maybe planning a little trip to New York. Maybe 3 days. I don't know. It's something that was said and we have to sit down. Maybe that's going to come up. But in the meantime, we still got to shop. We still got to eat. We still got to cook. We still got to clean. We still got to... So nothing like that is going to change. That's really all that's been going on. I say all. There's quite a lot going on. I was talking to one of my friends and they were like, do you ever catch a break? And I was going, I wouldn't know what to do with myself if there wasn't something going on. What do you do when there's nothing going on? So, yeah, the other thing I want to do is I want to read some more books. Get back into reading books, like proper into reading books. I read the odd ones as I'm going along, but I'd like to actually make it a focus this year of making time to sit down and read. I'm not a big TV watcher. I'm not a big Netflix or Disney Plus or any of that. Every so often I'll hear something or someone will recommend something. I might watch it, but very rare I will sit down for a night in front of the TV. I'd be on YouTube or I'd be doing stuff or reading a book I want to try and do more of. But yeah, so that's it. Yous are caught up to date, so we can move forward from here on in. Yous are up to date. Yous know what's going on. This is a whole lot of waffle and I apologise in advance. But yeah, I just thought yous would think I'd vanished off the face of the earth. The other thing is my upload schedule. I'm hoping to do it on a Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. So Tuesday and Thursday are going to be, one is going to be the food shop meal of the weeks. The other one, I'm not sure what it is. And then on a Saturday morning, I think I'll do a vlog. Have the vlog for the week up. I think that's what I'm starting. At the moment, I haven't got the energy to do it and I'm sort of arsing around. sorry, I moved my desk, that's why I'm facing this wall. All this needs done, and but yeah, we're getting there slowly. But yeah, it's so good to be back. I've missed you a lot, and thank you everybody who put comments and asked me was I okay and what was going on. That, you know, we're fine. We just, as I said, went through everybody being sick, including the dog, bar Carl. Carl just avoided us all like the plague. It was quite funny actually, because we'd all be in sitting together because we were all sick, and he'd creep into the kitchen and grab his food and go before he had to interact with us people with the plague. But yeah, so that is it. Yous are up to date, lads. I hope yous had a really good Christmas and New Year. I hope yous are all happy and healthy, and here's to another year of just survival. Right guys, I'm gonna go because I'm just waffling now because I'm tired. It's my bedtime. It's 20 to 10. Let's see the clock there. It's 20 to 10. So it's getting to my bedtime. I like to be in bed between 10 and sort of half 10. And yeah, so I'm getting tired. I'm waffling. So guys, I will talk to you in my next videos. Please take care of yourselves.